Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. We called this press conference to announce that, as I've already shared with the councilors behind me and the others, that in tomorrow's budget proposal, we have funded a new class of police officers and firefighters, 25 approximate positions for each department. As all of you know, fiscal management has been a sound and strong focus of this administration. And because of that sound focus, we have been able to increase our bond rating, to be able to finish the last 2 years with surpluses, and to move through providing the key services that one needs to do in the city of Syracuse. Of course, the most important services that we need to do are public safety. And so in looking at our positions and how many retirements we expected and the size of our force and also how much overtime we were spending, we determined that now was the appropriate time to add a class of officers. This will cost us approximately $5 million for both the 25 police officers and the 25 firefighters. The last time we had a class was in 2011, and with the police officers, we were able to fund 14 officers through federal funding, through a COPS grant. Those grants are no longer available from the federal funding, nor are there state funds available, so we will be paying for this funding ourselves. Also, it's important to note that while we are putting on a class of 25 for each, that does not fill all of the vacancies that we have. We currently have approximately 60 vacancies for police and 34 for fire. Right now, with police, there are 150 police officers who are eligible for retirement, and at the end of the year, we'll have approximately 180 police officers who are eligible for retirement. Currently, there are 58 firefighters who are eligible for retirement. What these numbers show is that we are continuing to add where we can, but we are not replacing one for one. Nevertheless, we felt that it was an appropriate time to move forward to add these important resources to our city and to move forward to provide these services. And you could not have two stronger advocates than the police chief and the fire chief, and saying that they were anxious to have more manpower or woman power, as the case may be. So with that, I also want to thank the council who has joined me, in particular the head of the Public Safety Committee, Councilor Hudson, Councilor Hunter, the Majority Leader, Councilor Hudson, both of whom were very strong advocates for including this funding in the budget. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions that anyone has.
Mayor, if I understand the numbers correctly, there's a good possibility that you could graduate these classes, they can join your forces on the street, and you could sell them out to fewer firefighters.
Correct.
You would actually not be spending additional funds, you would be spending less because you would have fewer people. Right?
That is a possibility, Bill, but part of a budget is it's not just the money that you spend, it's the money that you take in. And so at this point, as we put together our budget, we felt that this was the most fiscally responsible number that we could afford to pay for the positions that we are hiring.
Do you have any idea at this point where the money for these classes will come from?
It's all in the budget, and that will be available tomorrow, and you will see it. So from revenue that we have, from sales tax, from property taxes, from the revenue that we have, from fund balance, it's all there.
Mayor, do you feel like you had a choice in this matter, or was it an absolute necessity at this point, looking at the potential retirements, et cetera, that you had to put on classes now?
Look, this is always a choice, and we are always planning, particularly because, as I start off this press conference saying, we pride ourselves on being sound fiscal managers, and that we have seen that inure to our benefit from our bond ratings and from the attention that we've gotten from our fiscal practices. But you always are trying to manage and looking at how many retirements you're going to have, how many you have already had, where your needs are, and how you can balance those needs. It's clearly not just the police and the fire department who would like more employees. There are lots of other departments in the city that would like more employees as well. But at this point, given the numbers that we saw in the retirement eligibility and the amount of money that we were spending in overtime, we felt that this was an appropriate time to add these classes.
Mayor, you said there were 58 police officers and firefighters that were eligible for retirement? Or?
58 firefighters that are currently eligible for retirement. We have 60 police vacancies. We have 150 police officers that are currently eligible for retirement.
But that doesn't mean they're going to retire.
Correct, it does not.
Do you have any sense of those numbers any firmer than that?
We don't. You know, their retirement structures of police and fire are a little different, and so we generally get a sense in January of what our firefighters, which of our firefighters are going to retire because of the way the pension system is structured. The police, it's a little bit different. But that does not prevent somebody from retiring in June if they want to, or putting in their paperwork.
Chief, how long does it take for you to take somebody from the academy to the point where they're on the street as just a full-time officer?
Sir, could you move over to...
Certainly. Everyone heard the question, right? So it's approximately a year. Yes.
So you'd expect this class, you'd expect the class to be on the ground when? I'm not sure like when hiring is again summer 2015, fall 2015, spring?
Well, this is what happens. We start our canvas, then we conduct our interview process. That takes about 3 months for us to decide who we're going to hire. Then there's an academy class, which is about 6 months long. And then after that, they enter into a 10-week field training program. And at that point, they're assigned on their own. That's how it works.
Chief, it probably wouldn't have been good if this wasn't added, if you had to take the...
You're going to have to speak up because I can't.
I'm sorry, Chief, the effect of adding these classes, obviously, you needed it. I mean, if they didn't have these extra officers when there are these retirements, you would be even shrunken even more, the department. So I guess the impact of keeping your levels up. You understand?
She's asking if you're happy.
Is that what she's asking?
Yeah.
Are you happy, Chief?
Okay, all right. Thanks for the translation, Ross. Yes, I'm extremely happy. The timing, we're entering into the summer months, and to have new police officers coming on board, what that means is that we'll have an opportunity to fill vacancies, not just in patrol. All of these new officers will go into patrol. However, fill some vacancies in our detective ranks and perhaps even make some promotions down the line. So this is a great opportunity for the Syracuse Police Department.
Chief Leonard's, is it about the same timetable for you?
No, actually, our training is a little shorter. I hope to have people in the street by the end of October.
This October?
Yes.
Mayor, in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure you guys look not just at the next budget, but you look budgets out. In any way, shape, or form, can you foresee when the next classes may be? Or?
We can't. I mean, that's driven by both the number of retirements and also by how much revenue we have. And, in years past, it has not been unusual for the federal government to offer funding. In years past, I think the state government has also offered funding to help assist in this because there are significant training costs associated with classes. Those monies are not available, and so it's like everything else in this budget. It takes a balancing act. For every dollar that you spend, you got to take it away from someplace else.
Are there any numbers that you've seen that are good numbers that show you how many vacancies you can handle without pushing overtime to a point where it outweighs leaving those vacancies open?
Yeah, we look at that all of the time, but again, that, and particularly with the police department, that's kind of a hard equation because it's harder to plan for the police retirements because they don't tend to give you as much notice just because of the way the pension structure is. But those are things that our budget department, the police department, the fire department are looking at all the time. So, for example, I can tell you that right now we have 190 overtime slots a week for fire. When we put these 25 new firefighters in the firehouses and in the city, we will have 100 less overtime slots. So we'll go from 190 overtime slots a week to 90 overtime slots a week. Anything else?
Mayor, maybe you could just, I know you've said in recent weeks the financial difficulties facing the city are still real, but I think what you're also, if I'm understanding you right, what you're saying today is adding these positions, it wouldn't make things better if we didn't have these positions. It would just cause other problems down the road, essentially.
Well, I think what you have heard me consistently say is that while we do have significant financial challenges, we need to make investments for the future of the city. And you've seen us do that in areas, in all sorts of areas, from updating our technology to updating the tools that we've given code enforcement to starting a land bank. And each of those investments has inured to the benefit of the city, and we will continue to do it. So you cannot use the fiscal challenges that we have and say we can't do anything and just, pull your covers over your head and say I can't function anymore. And what it does, and I've said this continually to the people who work here in the city and shared it with my colleagues on the Common Council, it allows us to be the best leaders that we can possibly be. And I am really proud of the caliber of people that has taken me up on that offer, the caliber of people who are working for the City of Syracuse, and two of the highest here are the gentlemen who joined me on my right to my left. They are not only managing two of the most important departments in the City of Syracuse, they are doing it under much more challenging times than any of their predecessors has had to do, and they're doing an extraordinary job at it. All right, thank you all very much. Have a good day.